All right, all right. Hello, 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 my little beauties, and welcome to this live stream with me, David Connolly, the web developer extraordinaire. Having a reasonable hair day, and very nice to see you here. I have some water being distilled, and if you have not drank pure distilled water, then you have not lived, as far as I'm concerned. Very nice to have you here. Today, we're going to be dealing with cat hairs that I can see on the camera here. And we're also going to be working on the documentation for the Trongate framework. It's something that I've been working on for a while. Now I can see that Dom is in the room, and already he has raised a very pertinent point that I'm glad he brought up. And let me just have a little read at what he's saying, and we'll take this on board. So it's Ahoy to Dom. He says, have you considered adding Prism to the docs? It's lightweight, gives you syntax highlighted code. Oh yeah, I've heard about that. You got it working nicely with your own pages. Well chuffed with the result. I've seen it before. It's a CSS library, right? And it highlights the stuff. And here we are with Evan. How you doing, Evan? Ding, 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 ding. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Just got back from the local brothel. Thank you. I appreciate that. So did they pay you or did you pay them? Anyway, Prism's a lightweight highlighter built with modern web, blah, blah. Yeah, I think Prism is probably good. But on the other hand, I don't want to get too entrenched in that right now. I have to do the boring stuff, But this is stuff where I think you can definitely help out. And by the way, do you see that little burst of energy? See how I did that and the enthusiasm? That's as exciting as this is going to get. It's all down here. Downhill from here, folks. It's all downhill from here. Look at how high that forehead is. Anyway, if I do that, I look less bald, right? Doesn't matter. I'm okay with it. Right, so let's have a little look at this then. Now, what has occurred to me, okay, just to show you where we are. The current documentation is garbage. The new documentation is going to be excellent. And I've already put together a whole bunch of chapters here. It's written in a style that is very dry, very facts-based, and I think it's managed to end up being quite precise as well as being pretty concise. Brevity is the key, but also I'm trying hard to write in a tone that is appropriate for technical documentation, and it's not easy, you know. It's really, really not easy. It's going to take me until the end of the month to finish this. And it's a slog, but it has to be done. It's worth it. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. There's a lot of functions, right? One of the problems with the current documentation, and there are several problems, but one of the problems is that it's all over the place in terms of how functions and methods and all of that get referenced. So for example, if I take you to the docs, and it's not even going to load, is it? Yeah, if I take you to the docs, let's say, for example, we've got form handling here. And then you'll find that this is going to go through the different functions and it's going to explain them in detail. You know, the fields that are required and so on. And it's sort of all over the place. We see the thing with models. And I'll show you what I mean, or database interaction. So here we are with database interaction. Let's say the get where method. And it says it's for fetching a single thing. We get what gets returned. And it's teaching you how to use a function. Now you might say, well, that's fine. But the truth of the matter is that for people who are just want to look up what does the thing do, this is a little bit all over the place. A better approach, and what we're going to do, is at the end of our documentation, I think you're going to like this, Dom, there's going to be a thing that's called Comprehensive Reference Guide. And this is going to have all of the URL helpers, all of the model the entire model class documented. Every function, method, anything like that that deserves, even the constants, anything that deserves a mention is going to be here. And it's going to be documented really clearly. Now, when you read a chapter on something like form handling, it is going to mention, you know, we're using the such and such method or function. But then it's going to have a little, tiny little button with an eye for information. And you'll be able to click that and you'll get a modal that explains precisely how the thing works. But that's going to be drawing information from our reference guide. And please do tell me if you like the idea. Now, if I show you, I've been talking to ChatGPT and trying to get ideas for how this could work, because I want to present this stuff methodically. And what ChatGPT has come up with is kind of interesting. I'll show you. So this is what ChatGPT has suggested. And I think that this is excellent. URL title. And I think that we could maybe flip this around a little bit. So for example, we could take this here. Whoop. Maybe go like this. So URL title accepts a string, converts it to lowercase, replaces that, blah, 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 blah. And then here we've got what's called, this is called a function, oh geez, signature. I need to check something. Is the phrase function signature used even if the entity in question is, strictly speaking, a method? Okay, I can see that you avoided using a sub-headline of function signature in your sample code. Why did you leave out Why did you make this decision? I'm wondering if it's avoiding that as a subheadline to prevent confusion. I don't know. When designing HTML, I choose to display the function directly without. This decision was made for a couple of reasons. Okay. It's common to see the signature declaration line right after that. This convention aligns. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Let me just ask one question. One moment. Just a couple of things. I was considering having the description underneath the function name, like so. Can you tell me why this would be a good or bad idea? I have to be precise here. Advantages: having a description provides immediate context. It helps the reader. By giving a brief overview, the reader is better prepared to understand the technical aspects that follow. This layout emphasizes what it does over how it's technically defined. If your audience is more novice, however, for a more developed, prioritizing the structures, consistency. Okay. Okay. Do you think that it's worth clarifying if the thing is a function or a method? Right, let's go with that. Now I'm going to just say, okay, taking all of this on board, can you show me how you would restructure, rewrite the following? Oh, I wish it wouldn't do the full page. Anyway, while it's doing that, what do we think of this? Dom, it's... Oh, geez, man. I can see that you're talking about forking the docks, but I don't know if I'm into it. Well, let me just see. See... I think... As things stand, we've got documentation here that does let you highlight certain areas of code. For example, I'll show you what I mean. Suppose we take the one that I did yesterday. So here we've got a code sample, and I'm trying to draw attention to the true, which is the third argument here, and you can see that I've managed to highlight it. Now I'm happy with that. I find that to be clear. There is an improvement that can be made to this, which is to add a little icon here so you can click and copy. Perhaps we can have a little headline here as well, but I can add that with JavaScript. But I have to tell you, Dom, I'm happy with this because it's kind of binary and it's clear. If we add in loads of colours like we've got here, whilst that's technically impressive, it takes away from the key thing that I might be trying to, or we might be trying to highlight. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's as much as I think that that's a cool thing, it may not be the ultimate thing. Thank you to whomever left the like there. It may not be the ultimate vibe for this particular scenario. Do you know what I'm saying? So, I'll show you. I mean, if you want to fork stuff and help out, I can give you a massive list of stuff with which we could certainly do with some help. There's no shortage, you know. But I don't know if adding prism's one of them, Dom. You know what I'm saying? It's only a suggestion. I'm not going to take offense. Of course you're not. God bless you, my friend. God bless you. And hail to Dom Sinclair. All right. Let's just see what this thing came up with then. So what we're trying to do as a reminder is formalize the presentation. Oh no, that's worse. That's worse. Okay. That was better. I actually prefer this. I think this is how we're going to do it. So parameters, I think that this could be improved as well. Okay. So allow me to go like this. Thank you. I'd now like to turn the attention towards do you think it's appropriate to clarify if arguments are optional or required? Indeed, do you think the word argument or arguments may be more appropriate? Also, can you show me how you would deal with a hypothetical situation where different return types are possible? One last question. Some of the functions within Trongate have full comments, dot blocks, return types, and type hinting. Should that information be somehow included also, since it provides data about the behavior of the function? I'm writing so badly here. I apologize for breaking ChatGPT with these stupid questions. Okay, so parameters, string, value, oh, that's perfect. Okay. So let's take this. I'm going to copy this. We'll head. Okay. So I'm going to go like this. I think this is what it's suggesting. Something like that. So you go like this, URL title, accepts a string, blah, 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 blah. Then we do the, of course, we would have to do the function. They call it the function signature. So let's get that in there. So that goes like that. Okay. So I'm going to just, even though it's not accurate, I'm just trying to get my head around how it's presenting this information. Because I'm going to write a script that builds this automatically. That's where we're headed here, you know? Okay, so if we go like that. So we'll go straight from there to example usage like this. Then we'll have additional notes. Then we get that. See also. And then we'll take out this part here. Okay, so I think that that is pretty much that. The only other thing is with the parameters, I would divide this by 2. So I'd go like that. First part. Okay. Okay, so that. There we go. And then we'd have a div that contains 2 divs here. Okay. So then, supposing I just say, when we're talking about the param part there. So if I say param direct descendant div gets a display type of flex, a flex direction of row, align items flex start, that moves it to the top, justify content space between. So now, yikes. Nah, that's terrible. Let's just go right back to the way it was. Okay, do you think it would be a good idea to present the following in table format? That's excellent. That's how you present it. That's excellent. Right, now we're getting somewhere. That's brilliant. Thank you. Now can you give me some CSS? No. I don't think I need CSS because I can use the Trongate framework. Right, that's cool. We don't need CSS. So I've got that, and four. Okay, let's beautify this. HTML beautifier. Okay, now the table is going to look cool. We don't have to worry about it. It's going to look cool because once I add in Trongate CSS, we get this, you know. So it's going to look cool, especially the table here. I'm liking it. I'm absolutely liking this. So, assuming that we can get it looking decent, I'm going to take out additional notes. That's it. Okay, good. Now, let me just copy this and I'm going to type this in. The following HTML code represents what I consider to be perfect documentation for a function or method that is found within the Trongate framework. Okay, and then we say, please produce some HTML content of the same format as shown above, but for the following function method. And that's it. So, are you ready to rock and roll? We've now got our question all ready to go. And Dom has been busy here. Let's have a look at you. Let's have a look. I'm not nervous. I have to fit for the doc, see what we've got. Okay. I know you don't like this, but you can see the example of pulled from the Trongate files themselves. And you eventually see the raw HTML. It looks good, just needs a way to... Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think it's all right. I'm just being entirely honest. I think it's all right, but I think that this is better, you know? I mean, it's not my work. It was all the thing, but I do think it's better. Let's try an experiment, shall we? So, if we think about our new documentation here. Isn't that a beautiful picture on the homepage there? An idiot admires complexity, a genius admires simplicity. And just so everybody knows, this is the age of integrity. I am done bad-mouthing Laravel and getting involved in all sorts of rubbish drama because this framework speaks for itself. The statistics are there, the benchmarks, character counting, whatever you're into, minimum usage of third-party dependencies, stability, security, all of it's there to be looked at, and I am happy. So this is the nearest you're going to get to personality from this documentation, and it's not me, it's somebody else, you know. So, there we go. Now, let's think about our chapter here. So we've got a reference guide. And let's take a super quick look at the actual Trongate docs here and see if it's possible to put this together in a way that makes sense. So, okay. Let me just see. So we've got helpers. And all of these okay, so we've got helpers. What else have we got? Where does the model live? Ah, there it's there. Helpers. The model. Helpers. Okay, so we could have a little folder here called helpers, for example. And inside helpers, you would have something like, let's take a simple example, string helpers, or and these are all just functions. So maybe we could say, let's have another folder and we'll call it string helpers. So that's that. And then I'm going to take 3 of them as an example, right? So let's have truncate words, truncate string, and URL title. So here we go. It's truncate str. We're sticking with .html. Then truncate words.html. Now this thing does not have a database. It's pure HTML. URL title.html. These are all examples of string helpers. So you can see, for example, there's URL title, you know. Now, let's go back to our magical question here. This is the magical question. And we're going to see if we can get ChatGPT to produce one of those beautiful pages, you know? Wouldn't it be good if it did? This looks excellent. Look at this. This is beautiful. And it's really, I think, readable, you know? I do hope that people are able to read this. And then we've got example usage. Oh, that is so good. I actually can understand it myself, which is saying something. Right, there we go. Now let's copy this. Now I'm going to do 3 of these little beauties to get us out the starting blocks. All of this is going to be uploaded, by the way. Okay, so saving that. Let's go on and just do the other 2 while we're here. Let's just go crazy. So I found that complimenting ChatGPT seems to help. Okay. Now, how great would it be if this works? Because the next thing that you do is you write some code so that when the function gets used in the documentation, you have more info and a wee beautiful pop-up modal appears if people click on it and they say, what does that mean? So that is going to be outstanding, I think. I mean, forgive me if I'm complimenting myself here. Forgive me. That looks good. Now needs... Aye, exactly, Dom. There are also a few hidden gems dotted elsewhere that you'd miss without parsing the entire framework. Aye, exactly. And I'll certainly need all the help I can get with that, you know. So this is great. This is absolutely great. We are formalizing and documenting the whole darn thing. And isn't it funny how we came this far without doing this? There's so much in this framework that people don't know about because it has never been documented, you know. All right, let's go back to the employee of the month. Thank you. That is brilliant. I need to compliment it. Can you please repeat that, but for the following function? And what a time saver. Now, if I can get 3 of these working, it means that I can upload this to GitHub immediately. And I tell you what, Dom, if you're eager to help, just please do this, because this is something that is going to make a huge difference. ChatGPT is better at understanding these functions than me. And I'm the guy who wrote most of them, you know? So why not just use ChatGPT and have this stuff generated in a manner that is perfect, you know? Alright, so that concludes our final example of a little function that we're going to document here. We'll call this one URL title. Save, refresh, and don't it make you feel good? Now, comprehensive reference guide. Let's take this out. Save. Okay, now okay, so we have a little bit of work to do. I'm going to go to the docs template here, and you can see that this is taken in a table of contents. Now, let me just JSON this table of contents and see what we're working with here. So here's our table of contents, and unfortunately that's just, well, it's just looking for pages, so it's ignoring directories. So what I think I'm going to do is, this is the only chapter in the documentation that will have these subdirectories. It's the only chapter that gets that. Therefore, that is going to be a special chapter. So allow me to just say table of contents is an empty array. And you can see that that's all empty. Now I'm going to comment it out. I'm going to head to the actual table of contents and do the same. Okay, so there's no question that this is what's being read here. That's why I was doing that, okay? So now I'm gonna, if you think about the table of contents, it's the last item. So we can say num chapters is count table of contents. And then we're going to say unset table of contents with a key of num chapters -1. So that has now removed the last chapter completely. So what do we do now? Well, now we are gonna ref chapter is going to be now this is a class, so I'll say build ref chapter 3, something like that. So let's go like this, and imagine if we say var dump table of contents 0, you can see that it's an array. So these chapters get represented as arrays, you know. So we could say something like chapter 3 equals, and I'm just doing that and then returning it. Simple as possible. But wouldn't it be nice if we presented it in the same type of manner as had gone previously? So for example, this is a bit more like it. So if I go in here and I'll paste this in, I now have a little visual guide of roughly the type of structure that will hopefully be meaningful, you know. So in our example, our chapter is called Complete Reference Guide. So we'll bring this back. We've now lost this thing, but you can see the structure that we're aiming for here. And you can see that this looks like, actually it looks like an object, but let's worry about that later. And we're going to just say dir name. So we're going to put the name of the main directory here. So the name of it is going to be 0300 comprehensive reference guide. That's the dir name. Next we've got this dir label. That's where we're going to say comprehensive reference guide in words like this. But then we're going to say pages is whatever. Now, that is basically the structure of it right there. So the next thing we'll just say is actually data pages is an array, and then we return the data. I think that's how we do it. So having now built this reference chapter, we would then say table of contents, and I'm joining on the reference chapter. There it is right there. Now, how do we build up the pages? Well, okay. So this is what we're looking for. Employee of the month. Can you give me a PHP function that accepts a directory path and returns an array of subdirectories within the given directory? the returned array should contain the following data. Okay, and there we go. So there's our function, get subdirectories. So if we go here, I'll make it private. So the first thing that we do then is we clarify the dir path. Now Trongate has got a thing called app path, which gives us the actual path of the documentation. For example, there it is right there. So we're going to take the app path and we're going to join on Trongate docs, and then we're going to join on the name of that thing. So it's 00 blah 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 comprehensive reference guide. That is the directory path. Having done that, I'm going to say subdirectories is this, get subdirectories, and we'll pass in the dir path. And then I'm going to JSON subdirectories, take this out, ouch. Now hold on, it's not helpers, it would be why does it do it? Ah, okay, so the name is helpers, the label is helpers. Aye, fair enough, fair enough. Damn. Okay. It's tough. So let's just say, I think we can get it calling itself. So we can then say subdirectories is this, get subdirectories. So what now? Well, that would be path / entry. And then I'm just going to say subdirectories ouch. Alright, so there you go. So we now get subdirectories, and I don't think it's going to go any deeper than that. So what we got helpers, and then subdirectories, and you can see it's given us a label. I think that's really quite good. I think it's useful actually. So what now? What now? Well, let's look for that. There's the part where we're calling it, right? Okay, I'm going to return subdirectories. I think that's what I want to do. All right. It's so tempting to go to ChatGPT and just say, can you fix this? But it doesn't usually work out, you know? Okay, so we're going to go to the bit for building the table of contents here. Let's JSON table of contents. And you can see with this all important last chapter here. All right. Let me JSON ref chapter. Okay. So build ref chapter 3. Okay. So what we're perhaps aiming for is data dir name, and the dir name is comprehensive reference guide. And then data. So now we're looking for dir label. Oh, pardon me, that's the comprehensive reference guide. Okay. But the directory name is 0300, and then that. I can also add in subdirectories equals that, Then I'm clarifying the dir path there. Let me do a little JSON on the data. Ah, now that looks better. Okay. That does look a bit better. So let me look at get subdirectories. I'm going to comment that out, as mad as it may seem. Good. So subdirectories is an empty array. Now, let's get this. Yeah, so subdirectories should be an array. And look at this bullshit. That's the problem. That should return subdirectories like that. So now, okay. We're getting somewhere. So I'm going to just do row data, dir name is entry. It's just a different way of writing this. Dir label is that. Then subdirectories is something like that. So then we would say that the subdirectories array, and we join on our row data. All right. Now, if we var dump subdirectories, we get an array. So if we echo count subdirectories, we get 0. Oh, geez, how on earth is this not playing ball? Anyway, I think I've gone far enough with this. So back up to the thing. Okay. So we're on build ref chapter 3. And we're going to return the data. Good. So now I'm going to go into the docs template. Okay. And I'm going to say see this part here? That for each is drawing the chapter pages right here. So I'm going to just say if is set chapter data pages, then we'll say draw chapter pages. Which is going to go like that. So let me copy that. Did I just use camel case with PHP there? This is a mess. Alright, I might as well revert to yeah, I might as well revert to boring best practices. So, let's think here. What would be the best practices? Well, we could copy that. We could say page label is docs prep page label. And this is passing in. If you look at all of these things, we do that. Now let's go to docs and we'll build a little function called prep page label, which takes in a page label. Does that and then returns the page label. That's pretty cool. Just to prove that that is being called, there a little die statement. So that's cleaning that right up. And I'll make that one private. Using pure PHP here. There's no framework here. Alright. So calling upon docs template again. Okay. So what we could do is we could, as crude as it may seem, we could say if is set chapter data pages. That gives us this. But we could go even further. So we could say docs draw pages list, and we could pass in the chapter pages. And that's going to give us an error, of course. But we could go over to this thing. I'll make this private again. Function, draw pages list. Take this out. And then over on docs, we go like this. Now where this says docs, we say this undefined variable chapter data. Now that's unfortunate. Where the heck's that? 397. Alright, so on draw pages list, let's just put in chapter data. Cannot access of it on the soon, blah 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 blah. Let's take this out. Let's go here. Now this is now chapter data coming in. And that's that. Okay, so this is starting to look a little bit more reasonable, you know. Now, if we don't have pages, then we're going to draw a list of subdirectories, something like that. So how does this one go? Well, let's echo a little li. This is probably going to look horrible, but I'm going to just for the moment chuck in this chapter data thing in the vague hope that I'll be able to see what we're working with. So as you can see, we've got these subdirectories here. So what are we going to do? Well, let's build something that's kind of similar. Draw subdirectories list, we're going to call it. Now I'll copy this little beauty. Actually, Let's head back to our docs class. We'll make this a private function again. Okay. Now, I'll copy this just so that I can have a friendly reminder of what we are working with here. Okay. All right. Now, if you look at draw pages list, which went quite well, it starts with a UL and it ends with a UL. We also have these subdirectories that get declared here. So I'm going to just say subdirectories is going to be chapter data subdirectories. I'll echo the ULs. Now let me just save that and okay, do that. Right, now let me just say for each subdirectories as subdirectory. So I'm going to once again do this. And you can see it's showing us what we've got here. So we've got a dir name and a dir label. So we can say, and why not? Dir name is subdirectory. I like this type of coding where you're doing everything really deliberate like this, you know? Okay, so we've got dir name. Now looking up here, okay, it's given us a page URL. I'm going to just say is that. I'll figure out the page URL later on. But the vibe is that we're going to do this. So as you can see, when we go to our reference guide, we've got helpers. And so what now? Well, let's remind ourselves of what we've got. We've got a thing here that says subdirectories. So I'm going to say okay, do you see how I've got this saying chapter data and then it gets the subdirectories? That was a mistake. Let's chuck the subdirectories straight here and we'll take this out. Then I'll find the thing that calls this. So we know that this is chapter data subdirectories. Okay, all is well in the world. And then that little tweak lets us do something absolutely incredible, because we can now say draw subdirectories list, and it's going to be using subdirectory with a key of subdirectories. So now you can see that it says so cool, string helpers. All right, I'm sure there's a much faster way of doing this. So helpers, then we've got string helpers. Now, I could have a big old list that goes miles and miles here, but I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to have a page that's like an index of string helpers. That's how this is going to work, you know. So on our string helpers, you can see that we've got things like truncate string, truncate words, and so on. So I'm going to build a page that brings all of that together and presents it in a really beautiful way, you know. Which you'll see, which ye shall see. So there we go. We've got helpers, string helpers, helpers, string helpers. Clicking on helpers, well, maybe that will do something, I don't know. But clicking on string helpers, what is that going to do? Okay, let me try something. I have no clue what this page URL is. Well, there it's there. So Trongate docs. I see. So draw that. So the dir. I can't figure it out. Um, Geez, comprehensive reference guide helpers, string helpers. Okay, gonna add a little X here. Right, okay. So let me JSON subdirectory. We've got that. Okay. So when we call draw subdirectories list, which is here, and it's passing in chapter data subdirectories, let me just JSON chapter data true. And you can see that we've got a dir name here. This dir name is pretty important. So I'm going to pass in chapter data dir name, the directory name. Okay. So now as we draw our subdirectories, we're passing in a dir name, which is actually, let's just call it what it is. It's a parent directory name. So now the page URL is going to be base URL dot parent dir name. That's good. Reference guide is that. And then we're drawing the subdirectories again. But this time we're going to say new parent dir name is going to be the parent dir name with a little forward slash and dir name, and the new parent directory name goes in there. And what do you know? It works. Almost. It almost works. So all right. So we're taking in a parent dir name. I'm getting all mixed up here. So that's our parent directory name. So the page URL is the parent directory name joining on the dir name. That's what we're talking about. And then, okay, that's it. Got it now. It's a wee bit tricky, this stuff, innit? You have to be on your toes, you know? And again, I'm sure that there's a gazillion people who have solved this in a better manner than me. But that's okay. All right. So I'm going to just go straight for the jugular then and do this string helpers page. Incidentally, if we go to the table of contents, it's knackered, but we'll fix it later on. So here we are, and we're going to build a little index.php file inside here. All right, so now we have a gig. So what do we do now? Well, if we can load this docs class, then hello Honolulu. So how do we do that? Well, maybe if we go into PHP and we say root index file is app path all right, so I've just declared, maybe I'll do it this way. Okay, if file exists root file index, there you go. So let's add in a little require once. All right, so that's taking in our root index file, which takes us to here. All right. Let me change the plan here. All right. Internal, let's call it internal index. Sounds kind of cool. Internal, oh, hang on. Pause it. I'll say index alt. Index alt, that's what we're going to say, okay? So index alt, now let's make that up. Index alt.php. Good. So index alt is going to bear a striking resemblance to this. The main difference is that it's going to get used for listing pages within subdirectories such as comprehend reference guide. Okay, so that's what that gets used for. Now, I am going to do the unthinkable. Okay, nice and slow, nice and slow. So the plan is to just gradually reintroduce this stuff. First thing I'll do is I'll copy that and echo URL string. So the first step is really just figuring out where we are. The next step, I'll comment this out. No, I won't comment. I'll do it this way. All right. So the next step is 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm going to say dirs is explode, and I'm looking for forward slashes within the given URL string. So that's going to give us these internal directories here. So then, did that even help? Did that even help? Hold on. Do you know what? I don't even need to do that. I can just say dir path equals get dir real name. Is that it? No, it's no that. Hold on, hold on. So the dir path is app path joining on URL string. Let me echo dir path with a die statement. Okay. There it is there. And then, so now I'm going to read all of the files that are within that path. I've probably done this before somewhere. Okay, so this looks interesting. Get HTML files. So if I go to index alt and I'll just say HTML files is, so it's docs get HTML files, and I'll pass in the dir path. Now I'm going to JSON the HTML files. And won't you believe it? Looks pretty cool. Now I'm going to modify get HTML files by adding on comma true. And if I go to this docs thing, all right, let's just say remove first 4 is true. So let's just say that if remove first 4 is true, which is kind of the default, then we do that. But in our example, it's going to be false. All right. So otherwise, that is going to equal HTML file. There you go. Now, what next? Well, we've got our HTML files here. So let's I'm so annoyed at the way that it's removing these things from the page URL. Why is it doing that? So here's build page URL. And it's doing the same again. Damn it. Damn it. Well, let's pass in remove first 4. And again, I'll assume that remove first 4 is true by default. And once again, if remove first 4 is true, then and only then else dir name. Oh, you miserable shithound. I'm so mixed up. Okay, well, let me think. Perhaps the solution, as simple as it may be, is to add numbers, but that just seems futile, you know? Tell you what, even though it's caveman coding, I think the easiest way to do this is to do an alternative way of getting HTML files. Let's call it get HTML files alpha. Now, let me quickly look at get HTML files here, make sure I haven't broken it. Right, that looks cool. So I'm going to build a thing called get HTML files alpha. So this is going to be similar to get HTML files, but returns files in alphabetical order. That's what this is going to do. Okay, excuse me, I got an itchy nose. It's hay fever. Ah, all right. Everybody okay in the room? Everybody alive? 5 people, you know. Okay. Ahoy, Zen Dog. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Geez. Excuse me, I've a desperately itchy. I think hay fever's hitting me here. Mark Lawrence, how do you deal with perfectionism? I actually have something to say about that. I think I have a policy personally of just launching stuff as quickly as possible, you know? Even if it's not finished or 100% polished, just launch, launch, launch. When you launch something, you've got an extra motivation to stay up, you know, and that's all I've got for you. I wish I could drag it out more, but that's all I've got. All right. All right. So, let's build this thing that returns the things in alphabetical order, okay? I am going to get this working. So, I'll kind of work through it, right? So let's just, here's a good way of doing it. Suppose we do that. Okay, so this thing depends on a directory. And can you believe it? It's as simple as that. Geez, oh. Well, let's just, that was actually a bit too easy. So let's change the name of this to found files. Okay, so now I'm going to say HTML files is an empty array, and for each found files as found file. So now we're going to say row data, and we're going to get a page name, page label, and then a page URL. And that is going to make up our HTML files array. Like that. And then we return the HTML files. Alright, so that's the vibe, right? But for our page name, we're going to say found file. So there they are right there, truncate string, truncate words, URL title. The page label is going to be calling upon prep page label. So I'll say this, prep page label, passing in that found file. So you can see that this is saying truncate string.html. Now we can do a little bit of work on this prep page label to make it a bit better. So I'll say page label is string replace. Now let's take these underscores, replace them with spaces. So you can see we've now got those spaces going on there. Let's also say we'll take the .html, replace it with nothingness. There it is. And then finally, right at the end of this, we'll say page label is UC words. Page label. That's that. I just thought of something. Maybe there's a case for literally just saying it like that. Because that's, oh geez, how does it appear? How does it appear in the thing? Truncate string closing parenthesis. Okay. Um, let's take this out. Yeah. Let me take that out. Funnily enough, that's probably the best way to do it. That is probably the best way to do it. So then what do we do? Well, I suppose the next thing to do is let's go to the alpha thing here, whatever it is. And I'm going to just add in current URL. So it knows the current URL. And if we take that current URL and join on the file. That's that. Perfect. Perfect. So 3 cheers for us, because we've now got our HTML stuff. We've got the page label, the page URL, and everything is perfect. So what now, I hear you say? What now? Well, the rest is pretty easy. Because now what we're going to do is, yeah, we're going to load up the docs template with a certain view file path. And the view file path, now what on earth is the view file? However, Trongate docs, what is it? Give me a minute. Let's try docs. Let's try docs index alt dot php. All right, now this is looking for a table of contents, so we'll get that. And it's looking for docs index alt dot php. So new file, docs index alt dot php. That's that. And then inside here, we should be able to access the data. And you can see here that we've got let's say data HTML files. Is that? And then I'm gonna JSON HTML files. So there they are. And we're also gonna take this last URL segment and turn it into a page headline. So the way that we do that is, can I echo segment 3 and get a die statement here? Maybe not. All right. Well, in that case, I'll just say URL segments is explode, looking for a forward slash, and we are looking at the current URL. So the last segment is URL segments. I'm going to look at count URL segments -1. And if we echo the last segment, Right, let me take this out. Geez, oh. I don't entirely know why it's saying -2. Give me a moment. Or it's insisting upon -2. Ah, we need to remove the base URL. So reduced URL is string replace base URL with emptiness upon the current URL. Then we're going to explode the reduced URL. Then -1 should work. Can you believe it? Right. 0, 1, 2. Ah, this last thing is causing a problem here. How do I remove a trailing forward slash from a string in PHP? That's it. That'll do, mate. So reduced URL is that. Right, so now if I say last segment, there you go. Good. So we've now got the last segment figured out. From this last segment, we can build a headline. Data, page headline is last segment. And then we can go right here, go like that. And of course, that gives us that. And now it's starting to get good, right? Because now we can go in here and we can, for each HTML files, as HTML file. Now I'll chuck in a little UL here. And then here we'll have an LI. And look at this. Okay, so let's go with HTML file. And the name of this is page label. And look at that. Okay. Now, then we have a choice. We can either link to a page or we can get a beautiful modal popping up. I think I'll do I think I'll do a modal. And in fact, where we've got this page label here, I'm also going to say let's have a little yeah, let's have a little for each data HTML files as key as value. Now I'm going to say that the right, so I'm going to say that the data HTML files with a key of key loading up, was it page label? Yep. Is going to equal value page label joining on those little parentheses vibes, you know? So there you go. Kinda cool. Kinda cool. I don't know if this is the best way to present this, but I don't know. Let's just keep on going. So if I have a href is and then I kind of fake link going on here, what's that gonna do? Does it send us to the top of the page? It does. And I don't like being sent to the top of the page. So we're going to do something different. Let's have a class of fake link. Now fake link is going to be inside docs.css. Here is docs.css. And I'm looking, might as well just chuck it here. So fake link gets that color. There it is. I'm also going to let's also make it so that when we hover over it, we're going to get text decoration underline. And we're also going to get a cursor pointer. I wonder if I could also say, suppose with this we could say color is var primary. And then when we hover over it, the color could go to primary darker. That's kind of cool. All right, so we've now got these fake links going on here, and we've got this nice reference thing here. So helpers, string helpers. I'm going to change this so that it's not a link. I'll do that later on. But for now, let's focus on this. So the idea here is going to be when you click on it. So on click equals init open, and it's going to be init open info. Now, if we JSON the HTML file here, you'll notice that we've got a page URL. That page URL, in fact, let me just show you something. That page URL takes us straight to the page in question, you know. So we can pass that page URL into this thing, like so. So a couple of little backslashes, like this. And then we're going to say HTML file page URL. There it is right there. Okay, so if we do that and head back. Now, we're on a page here called docs template. And you can see we've got a file called docs.js. So on docs.js, let's build a little function. And this function is going to be called init open info. Init open info. So here we go. We'll have it down here. In fact, let me make some room so I'm not staring at my feet. Maybe here. So function, open, and then I'll chuck in a target URL. So there we go. Now let's make this nice and simple. We'll open up the console. Oh, you miserable thing. All right, okay, so that's trying to add breadcrumbs or something. I'll come on to that later on. But the key vibe for now is that I'm clicking that and it's giving me this URL here where this file lives. So what I'm going to do, I think, is dynamically build a modal. So I'll head to the template here and we'll go down here and we'll just say class modal. I'm going to give modal heading a thing here. And I'll just say modal heading. Then I'll have a modal body. And in here, I'm going to just have a little spinner div. Nothing else. And then I'll just say ID is temp modal, style is display type of none. And that's all I have to do. And if I now go over to the JavaScript, and I'm going to just say open modal and pass in an ID of temp modal. And that's us. Now, nothing much happened, but that's okay, because all I have to do is include app.js. Here we go. It's just a little JavaScript file that comes with Trongate, you know. So if we now go like this, app.js, check it out. Oh, ho, 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 ho. How you like me now? How do you like me now? So when somebody clicks, we're going to do that, and we're going to have the information about the thing, you know. Now let's make this spinner a bit better. I'll say margin top 3, margin downstairs 3. So as we click, we then get that. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And okay. So let me think here. Okay. See this page label here? This could be quite useful. Let's do a little backslash thing like this. And maybe have one here. And let's chuck in the page label. So when we init open info, which is here, we're now taking in what we'll call a headline. So as we go like, oh, I don't really know why that would cause a problem. Right, hold on. Tell you what, let's simplify things. How about if we just keep the target URL in here? And then here, that's pretty cool. And then on our template, let's just get rid of the modal heading. Do we even need it? There you go. It's a good wee space saver, you know. All right. So as we click this, that loads up. Big deal. But what we want to do now is fetch the content that describes the function and then add it inside that modal, you know. So the way that we're going to do that is we'll open the modal. I'll do a little timeout of like a tiny fraction of a second. Okay. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to do a GET request. To the target URL. And just for now, I'll console.log the response. So as we go like that, click, there's our response that's just come in here. And it is successfully reading that content. So if we have the response, what we can now do is we'll say if http.status is 200, then, well, here's how it's going to go. We're going to say const target modal body is document query selector of modal body. I'm going to empty the modal body with a little while loop here. So that is going to remove the spinner. See how it disappeared? And then we're going to say target modal body inner HTML is HTTP response text. So now if we go like this, thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much indeed. Your applause is most welcome. Pretty cool, isn't it? So now all that remains is to make it look decent. So here's our docs template. Now on this little thing here, temp modal, I'm going to call it, let's have a class of framework ref. That'll do us, okay? So we're going to go to the world of CSS now. And we'll say that if something is at framework ref, now to kick us off, I'll just make the background color hideous. It shows me that we're on the right track, you know. And I'll also just say modal framework ref, so I'm being really clear about this. So the first thing that we'll do, I think, is we're going to change the font size. Bring it right down. Did that even make a difference? I don't know. I'm not sure if it did. All right, well, forget that. Let's just go straight through these things one by one. So there you go. So the first thing we'll do is with our H1s, we're going to say margin top is 0. So as we click, there it is. Now, of course, this font size is insane. So let's bring it up to something reasonable. And that looks pretty good. I quite like that. Now, the question is, why is this signature thing looking so crap? Well, let's just say signature gets a margin of 0. Maybe padding of 0. Ah, Jiminy. Right, why, oh why is it looking so crap? Could it be that our H1 has got a margin bottom that's messing it up? I think it is. All right. Now, it's almost as if it's got this weird kind of text indent or something going on. Text align left. Ah, there we go. That's perfect. Okay, so now let's let's look at the code for the CSS here. So dot signature, it was a class, right? And you can see on our test.html, we had a bunch of sample stuff here, which may or may not be useful. I'll take this part. All right, so we'll copy that, then head over to docs.css, paste in. Now that's just framework rules that came from ChatGPT, this stuff here. But I think some of it was quite cool. I know framework rules, CSS rules that came from ChatGPT. So let me just go like this. And I'm just clarifying that that is in reference to those. Now I'm going to just do a couple of wee X's. Okay. Right, now we're starting to get a gig here. So all right, there you go. Okay, that's excellent. Now the modal container, this thing here, this modal container, or even the modal itself, has got a maximum width of 570. I'm going to go to okay. So I'm going to say that if we've got an ID of temp modal, max width is 90%, and that is important. So now as we click, now you can see that that's filling up the whole thing, but 90's a little bit on the big side, isn't it? So maybe we should just chuck in a number. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Boom, I'm loving it. All right. So we've now got that happening. The next thing is we'll take our signature thing and we'll just say text align left. There it is. And just look at how this is all coming together. So you now get that. In fact, remember when I put this inside a set timeout? I probably don't even need that. Watch how fast this is. Oh, it's instant. There you go. And that is just beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. So I'm loving this, you know. I'm just going to keep on making these things look beautiful. So we'll have a font weight of bold. And look at how instant this is. The color is too strong. Okay. Okay, that's cool. So truncate string, we do that. And then moving on, what else have we got here? Well, let's look at the thing. You can see that this is an H2. So let's just go like this. And we'll say H2. Again, I'll do margin top 0. That's a wee bit too much in it. Well, let's change the font size. So the font size, I'll make it like 24 pixels. Nope. 21. Yeah, that's a wee bit better. 21's good. I'll make the margin top 1em. Or maybe 2em. Or maybe 1.6em. There we go. So the next thing that we've got, and I'm going to have to close some stuff here, man. I'm getting confused. All right. So the next thing we've got is a class of description here. So let's just say modal framework ref. Now, is that part of a paragraph? Well, I do believe it is, but it's the only one there. So let's just say text align left. So once again, click. Oh, that's beautiful. I'm friggin' loving it. Now I'm going to make the font size 12. Okay, maybe not. I'll zoom in a bit. There it is. Truncates a string to a specified length, blah, 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 blah. And again. Yeah, I kind of like that. I kind of like it. Now, let me just clarify that these are H2s that we've got here. And they are. So the H2s are looking fantastic. The next thing I'm going to do is on the right, do you see this gap, this big gap here? That's too big. And so if I look at the thing, right, there's something that's making that sit a bit high. Or low, rather. Do you see how it's going really far down here? I think that that is app.js that's doing that. So I'm going to look at open modal. I can see a whole bunch of stuff here. And look at this, margin top 12 VH. If I change that to like 2 VH, now you can see it's really near the top, which is just far better, you know? And look at that page. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is the table. So for the table, I'll just say that the font size, I'm going to say 12. I know it looks crazy, but oh, geez, this is going to be so damn good. Oh, that's excellent. That is really, really excellent. All right, let's do a wee bit of formatting on that table there. So I'll use CSS to do this, and what I'm going to do is the following. Now wait, you check this out. If we say table of nth child 1, I'm going to say opacity 0.2. You miserable thing. All right, give me a minute. Okay, let's say that of nth child 1. Oh man. So if I say table row, and it's the TD of nth child, actually even, these are going to get text align center. That's it. So you can see then that that has centered those things, but unfortunately, damn. Okay, one moment. Going to chat to the employee of the month. I have a web page with 2 tables. I want the following CSS rule to be applied to the first table only. Unfortunately, my CSS rules are being applied to both tables. Can you help? Here's my code. It's funny how what I'm just realizing here is I could say here table nth child 1. I think that might do it. Maybe not. You know, it's funny, but I've never used that thing that it just mentioned. Table first of type. I've never used this. But it works. Okay. And then another one that you could do is first table. Okay. I have decided to use, how can I apply rules to the second table? Ahaha, is there a second of type? Well, can you believe it? We go like that and we say nth of type. I've never seen that syntax in my life. Call me an idiot. And I'm going to take that nth child of 1. There you go. So these are the ones that I want to align to the center. And if I'm being completely smug, I'll copy this, have a little comma, paste in, take this out here. There it is. And just look at that. That is beautiful, isn't it? That is absolutely beautiful. I'm loving it. So, yeah, I like it. I like it a whole lot. This part here with the, what is it saying here? Pre? Is this pre? Do we have? Let's see if I can do something with that. I'll just say max width. I'm going to make it much, much smaller just so I know that it's working. That's cool. It works. Brilliant. And now I'm going to say line height. Add a wee bit of line height in here. I'm loving that. And I'll make the font size 14 on this as well. That's it. Just a wee bit more. See that padding? That's padding on the top. So I'm going to say 10 picks on the top, 3 picks left and right. No, top, think of it like a watch. 3 picks on the right, 0 on the bottom. So top, right, bottom, and then 3 picks on the left. That's it. See, the way you remember that is you just think of a clock, you know? Okay, that's cool. Now let's... Okay, so that. I'll make these a wee bit bigger. Maybe this font should go to like, I don't know, 15. Okay. So that's it. That's our example here, you know. Now the next thing would be, I'm going to add in a button that says close window. And I'm also going to add in a little cross on the top right hand side here. Going to get both of those things happening, you know. So let's start with a good old fashioned button, shall we? So just look at how nice this is. Isn't that nice? Dom, are you here? How nice is that? Anyway, we have a few people on board. The great Stefan is here in full formation. How you doing? Zendog, ahoy to you. And Jonas Hansen, ahoy to you, my friend. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Great, great. Well, Dom, you're 50 steps ahead of me, but you have to admit this is looking pretty nice, isn't it? So the idea with the docs is going to be the moment you see a function that you don't understand or anything, anywhere at all, you'll be able to just click the thing and you're going to immediately get a beautiful little pop-up like so. And I am so happy with this. I love it. I hope you folks like it too, don't you know? Anyway, let's get our info thing or whatever it is working. What's the I'm having a Joe Biden moment here. What am I working on? Who am I? Who are you? Ah, geez, here we are. Init open info. There we go. So this is the thing that is going to open up our thing. Now you can see that we've added in this here, and that is our inner HTML, and that's all very well. But now we're going to build a close button. I'll show you how to do this with JavaScript. So let's just visualize it first of all. We probably want it in the middle of the page at the bottom, and I will add one to the top right as well. But let's focus on this one, right? So I'll say const close button para is document create element p, and then I'm going to say target modal body append child of close button para. So that's going to add a little paragraph onto the bottom of this. Next thing I'll do is I'll build a button. I happen to have a little shortcut here, and the text is going to say close window. Okay, now that button is going to get joined on to the close button para. So close button para append child of button. So if we go like that, you can see that we've now got a wee button here that says close window. To align that to the center, we're going to take our close button para and add on a class of text center. All of this comes with the Trongate framework. No third-party libraries required. So look at that. Now I've got a beautiful wee button here that just says close window. And now we're going to bring it to life. At the moment, I've just got console.log click. I don't even know if that'll work. It does work. Oh, hang on. Well, what do you know? It's my Lady Wonder wench. I'll have a look round and make sure I've got no dead bodies or anything in the place. I think I'm okay. Anyway, that's that. So how do we close the darn thing? It's as simple as this. Close modal. And that's it. But did I show you the screen? No, I never. So here we are. I've just added a little close modal command. And can you believe it? It's as simple as that. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? So I think that this is going to be extremely useful for these docs. I don't know what the link is that it's added, by the way, but I'm pretty chuffed with this. Folks, I hope you got something from this live stream. And hold on. I'll just wrap up. All right, folks. So I think I'm going to wrap this one up. And what do we think of this? Is it cool? You be the judge. It does look nice. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, uh, yeah, I'm loving it. So there we go. And look at that, a big spike in viewership just as I'm switching off. Isn't that life? Isn't that life? But I tell you what, folks, I'm loving these docs. I think that these docs are going to be excellent, and hopefully they'll be well received. So that's us closing the window there. Do you know what? Would you mind if I take 2 minutes to build a closed window on the top right hand side? All right. So let me build one of these things, one of these little close buttons even, and have it on the top right hand side as well. I'll show you how to do that just before we go. I won't be a second, right? So let's build a close window icon for the top right hand side. So this is going to be remarkably similar. I'll just say const close div is document create element div. Now on this close div, I'm going to set an attribute with a class of text right. Then I'm going to get another little button here, and this little button is going to have inner HTML this time. Inner HTML, and the inner HTML is going to be a little icon. Class is FA, and then it's FA times. That gives us a little cross thing. So if we do that, then I'm going to say target modal body append child, and it's our close div. Then I'm going to say close div append child. Now I've just called that btn, and that's a conflict here, so I'll call this one btn small. So as we click, you can see we've got our thing in the bottom part of the screen here. So all we have to do is add it. Okay, let's go to the employee of the month. I have created a new element that I'd like to have added to target modal body as the first child. How do I do this in JavaScript? I can't remember how to do it. I think we say insert before. I just remembered. Let me take a guess. So I'm going to say, oh, it is insert before. I can't remember the syntax though. It's insert before. Come on. You know what? Let's take a guess. I think it's, let's take this out. I'm going to take a wild guess. Target modal body, insert before. What are we going to insert? It's the close div, and we're going to insert it before, oh geez, we're going to insert it before target modal body first child. Thank you very much indeed. And the genius knows no limits. I do hope that you realize that. That's it. And then I'm just going to say btn thing style margin top is 0. Let's get rid of that stupid margin. And look at that. We've now got a fabulous little close button here. And of course, when we click on it, that too is going to close the modal. Look at that. Simple as that. And in fact, let's not have a class of alt. So it's going to be a little blue button. There it is. Thank you very much indeed. Your applause is most welcome. You have been watching the home of the web development revolution. You were here, and I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much indeed, folks, and I will see you soon. Thank you, thank you. Goodbye. Callum, how you doing, Callum? What you doing? I'm leaving. Bye.